Hey guys, this is episode 3 of the Sports Card Man Experience, and in this episode I'm going to focus on more football cards to buy. The draft just finished last week. If you watched my episode 2 video, I pointed out some good football cards to buy that went up a lot in value since that post. A couple guys on the top of my head: Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. Those all went up a lot in value since I made the video, so if you bought those, you did very well. I also pointed them out on my story recently, what the predictions were, and as well as what the results were. So in this video, I'm going to point out the same thing, 10 more guys that you should be paying attention to or buying, and why I like them, give you a prediction as to what I think they'll grow throughout the season or a couple weeks, even a month from now. Football's been consistently trending up in value. So the first card I'm going to focus on is a DeAndre Hopkins rookie Topps Chrome PSA 10. Hopkins just was traded to the 49ers, and I think he's already on a Hall of Fame path. He's a really tough card to find. And as you can see here, I'm just searching a couple. Like there's a refractor right there for $54.99. That is a really good buy. Just because it's probably $100 card in my opinion, and the base of him is probably easily $40-$50, and you're getting a refractor. I know lots of times refractors aren't registry cards, but because I focused on that last time in my last video, but considering that there's no base chrome of him available, like the refractor, I would definitely buy. Another one right there just sold for $54. This one looks like a variation, but I would prefer this card here. So as you can see, April 16th, one sold for $35. If you can find one, definitely get your hands on it, just because there's not a lot of those out there. It's very underrated. Kyler Murray stuff is red hot, and he's going to be his go-to man, Hopkins. So definitely look into getting him. Again, the refractor's not my card or anybody's I knows, but it's just a card that I would definitely buy. And like I said, probably the base I would say is gonna hit around 60 to 70, and the refractor is gonna be around easily $125 pretty soon. Just a lot of people haven't caught on yet. The next guy I'm gonna do is Julio Jones, and a Topps Chrome as well of him in a rookie. I believe his rookie is 2001. So you can see the last one sold here. This is the card you're looking for. $53 on April 5th. It's very tough to find. And then another one you can see in March did 100. So it's a very, very tough card to find. There is a couple listed. So like you have this one listed at 7 days. So to be honest with you, I'm probably going to be bidding on that. There's this one that has 11 watchers with 99. I would pay probably anywhere from 60, probably anywhere from like 75 to 80 would be the right price. Like even the 99 isn't terrible, because this is probably I would say this is probably like more like a 130 card, I would say, off the top of my head. Of where the upside is on it. If some people are already paying 100, it easily could hit like 130, just because the chrome stuff is very high, especially in basketball, and it's starting to trend up a lot in football as well. So definitely this card here, start to zero in on it. If you're going to try bidding on it, I mean, I'm probably going to bid probably about 75, 80. So if I win it, I'll be happy with that. There's 20 watchers on it, so it might be a tough card to get. But definitely keep an eye on them, or use other websites to buy that. But I'll go to the next guy. George Kittle. I was doing some research on him. He doesn't really have like a lot of cards, because he was a 5th round draft pick. He does have a contenders auto, but I've been focusing more on the rookie cards rather than the autos. I might do some more stuff with autos later on. But yeah, like just looking at like this card here, it's actually a silver. It's a 2017 Phoenix Silver. I was looking at this one the other day, and they're around 40 $45. And as you can see, this one even did 100. So, and that was right around the Super Bowl, obviously. So like right now, $40 $50 ungraded, they are a really good buy. It's probably $100 card. So I was going to buy it, but I wanted to do a little bit more research on them, and they're actually really limited, as you can see. There's only been four or five that have sold. Probably a little higher than 4 or 5, probably closer to like 10 or 15 that have sold the last like couple months or so. But this is the one that I like is this one here. There's a couple other different versions, but I like that one just because silver stuff is becoming highly sought after, and there's only this one on here, which actually isn't a bad buy at all. That could sell for the full price, or there's also this one here. So if you can get that for around, let's say, 45 or 50 shipped, it's probably easily a $100 card, just because that's what they hit when they were at peak value. I would probably say even 80 would be on the safe side. So there's some good upside with that one as well. Next guy I like, who I actually just recently bought, is Sam Darnold, and I pointed this out on my Instagram page about last week or so, which was this card here. It's the 2018 Prism PSA 10 of him. So just the thing I pointed out was there's other quarterbacks that are just as good as Darnold that are selling for a lot higher. Like the Broncos kid is going, Drew Lock is going like around 150 in a Prism 10. Daniel Jones is around 130 in a PSA 10, even closer to like 150. And even like Gardner Minshew is around the same value as Sam Darnold as well. So I mean, right here's a prime example. There's 17 watchers on him, and you can get one for $100. So with tax, it's going to be like close to 110. But in my opinion, I think that's probably a 150, 175 card. So as you can see, like a couple have sold for that similar value, 90 to 100. I actually bought a couple, and some have already gone for 150 also too. So that's why I paid I got it for around 105, and I think it's probably a 150 card pretty soon. Just because there's a lot of upside. So this is the one I bought actually right here, April 21st, and you can see a lot of others have sold for that same value since then. So I think it's probably around a 150 card like next season, maybe even 175, just because some have already sold for 150 also. If you scroll down, you'll find them. And just because other players of his like magnitude and skill set, and comparing like the other players that I pointed out, Locke, Minshew, Jones, they're all around the same caliber player of Darnold right now. So that's why I like that buy so much. Going on to the next one, this one I think is probably my favorite. I actually have a couple of these in my collection right now. It's the 2005 Aaron Rodgers PSA 9 and rookie. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the Brady Bowman Chrome, but it's gone up probably $1,000 the last like 2 weeks, and there hasn't been any real push on Rodgers stuff. Like his stuff has gone up a little bit, but like right here, as you can see, you can get them for around $225 all day, even like $200, which is an absolute steal in my opinion, just because this is probably a $3 to $350 card, and just because I mean he has like one of the highest QBRs of all time. People still consider him a top 5 quarterback right now. So and then you look at like what Brady stuff's going for. Yeah, Brady's in the media because he signed with the Bucks, but I mean, people haven't forgotten like how good Rodgers is. But I think at 225, even like 200, if you can get him, like this one is at 150, so you might be able to get that one. So, and there's other places to buy other than just eBay. I just kind of use this to kind of show you like what the current market is. But yeah, definitely Rodgers I like a lot at 225. I actually have one that I got into for about 200, so I'm gonna probably be sitting on that just to hope to get like 300 or 350 for it once they do climb up in value. But I think you will start to see more of Rodgers starting to climb up in value as well. The next one is actually a really interesting one too. So I know he had a down year last year, but this is his best card, Jared Goff 2016 Prism PSA 10. So as I pointed out in the last episode, was Prescott is in the same card as Jared Goff. And I was telling you, I said buy them for 150. It's got a real good upside and like this and that. Now they're selling for 250. Jared Goff was actually the number one pick in that class, and he is a third of the value of Prescott right now. Like you can get you can basically get almost 3 Jared Goffs for the value of what Prescott is selling for. Like right here, there's one for 75 plus 4 shipping. Even at 75, that's a really good buy. I was monitoring these at probably like 65, and that's the lowest I've seen them in a while. Here you'll see 75, 70, 70. They're 70, 70, 75, 70. So like that's kind of the lowest I've seen them, 65. So that was kind of the lowest benchmark one right there. But even at like 80 shipped, it's probably a card that's worth 125, 150. Just because he easily could have a bounce back year. The Rams, they don't have Gurley anymore, so they're gonna have to throw the ball more. So I would be confident in them and his ability, just because I wouldn't look at just so much last year that it was a down year, and I would look at what he could do to bounce back. And comparing him to Dak, he has just as much as ability as Dak does, and his card is a third of the values of Dak, and they're also in the same year. So I would definitely be confident in them as well. Another quarterback that I wanted to point out was Matt Ryan from 2008, his Topps Chrome PSA 10 rookie. They're around, this one sold for around, I believe I looked it up, it was around like $85, and this one was like 80, 70, 70. So like that's and then I was checking the pop on them. There's not like too many of them. There's like probably around like close to, I think it was like 400. I didn't want to check it like this second, but like as you can see, there's only 4 like results, and there's only a couple on. Like this one is on CLMC 115 to 130, so they have a couple on there. And this one has I believe you can buy a couple of these if you like. He had 5 available, so I think it has some upside, just because Matt Ryan is probably going to make it in the Hall of Fame. It definitely, it's not on the registry yet, and he has an MVP. He has a lot of touchdowns for his career, and he's still going strong. So I think it's probably a 150 to 175 card. So there's some upside on it. There's not a lot. It's just a really good solid buy. If you can get them like even like from a different place like Facebook or like Instagram, or like in the future like a card show, obviously not like right now, but even at like if you could pay 85 to 100, that might give you a little bit more room, but it's not a bad buy at all right now, considering like the Chrome stuff in quarterbacks is real high, and other guys are selling the same value that I mentioned, like Minshew, Drew Lock, Daniel Jones. I mean, I like Daniel Jones a lot, but I don't think his card should be selling higher than Matt Ryan's, because Matt Ryan is a future Hall of Famer. The other one I wanted to do was some running backs, and Nick Chubb is had a really good year last year with the Browns, and I believe his card is around in a Prism base. It's around, last I saw, it was around like $40, and which is a really good. It's less than that actually, at $30, which I think that has like a lot of good upside. There's not too many of them available either that have already like been graded 30, so they're 30 to 40. So yeah, even at 30 or 35, I think that's a card that goes up to like 70 or 80, just because Barkley stuff is a lot higher, is double the value of Chubb. Obviously Barkley's in New York, and he gets all that hype and things like that, but Chubb had a really good season last year, and I'm a big Barkley fan, and I think Chubb right now is the better buy, and has more room to go up than Barkley does, because Barkley is already at like probably closer to 190 or 100 off the top of my head, and I think that Chubb gets to around 60 to 75 in a 10 next year. So definitely keep an eye on him. Another running back I liked was who's starting to build a Hall of Fame path already is Zeke Elliott, and he's also from 2016. So you can see this one, it was sold for ungraded for $40. This one went 82, and this one went 90. I was actually looking at them when they were like 65. So, and like this one went for 115. So like this one was a really good buy at 60 and 60. So now it might be a little tougher to get those at that value, because it looks like his stuff's gone up. But if you can get them at let's say like 70, that's probably a good buy, because I think this is probably a 125 card, which it might be difficult to find, but then again they could go back down. But if you can pay, let's say 65 to 70, I would buy them all day at that value, just because he's already had like a really good start to his career. It's a guy that's going to climb more up in value, so that you can see 150, that's the cheapest one on. So yeah, like it might be a little bit more difficult to find him at that value, just because like the market's already gone up from like when I was researching him and things like that. But the last one, well, actually I'll do two more. There was another one like that I'd mentioned, like because I just wanted to point this out, was Daniel Jones in a 10 Prism, and you'll see that they are around in a 10, they're around 130 as like the cheapest one, which just to show you, like even they were like 145 plus shipping, so 140, yeah, so they're a little higher than I thought, 130, 140. So just to show you the comparison of him versus Darnold, that's why I kind of wanted to show you that. And the thing I don't like about this card is it looks like there's like a yellow almost like print line on it. Like I don't know if like that's how they just made that card, but it's definitely really noticeable, like and it's on a lot of them. And I don't think a lot of people realize that with that card, so I did want to point that out, that I don't know if that was just the way they made it, or if that's intentional, but it definitely sticks out, and it's not, I'm not a fan of it personally, just because it looks kind of weird, because I don't know why you would want a yellow line going back behind his head, like it just so, and it's on like a lot of them, as you can see. So yeah, I just wanted to use him kind of to show you like the good value on Darnold from before. It's both play in New York, and both are very young still in their career. The last one, which has some sneaky good upside, is Todd Gurley. I know a lot of people are down on Gurley, and but his year actually wasn't like that bad statistic wise. He still had 12 touchdowns with like 850 yards, and I think people are looking too much into saying he has like arthritis in his knee and things like that, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I gotta end this video soon. My battery's gonna low. But yeah, his Chrome you can get for around, I saw one on here, this one right here, the guy actually changed it. They were only 15, and they're 20. But I think if you can get them for, let's say, 15 to 20 per at a Chrome, that's probably a $35 to $40 card. And I think he could. So here's actually a cheaper one. Well, it's not cheaper, but it's a best offer. So this guy here, he might accept like 15 for one. So if you can get him for 20 shipped, that would be like the number you would want to pay, or even like 15. And I think they're probably around like 35 to 40 in the future, just because he's already on a Hall of Fame path. He's got a ton of touchdowns, and he's kind of people have kind of forgot about him. So it's kind of like a sneaky buy with like good upside, because like he could bounce back on the Falcons, and the Falcons put up a lot of points. So definitely keep an eye on that. Hope you guys like this episode of the Sports Card Man Experience. Going to put out more videos this week as well. Leave some comments. Like to hear your feedback, and check out my Instagram page at Sports Card Man. And thanks again for watching, guys. Bye.